Assalamu Alaikum. Welcome back to my YouTube channel English with Rabia Hassan. Viewers, I hope you are enjoying the concept of active and passive voice. Today we are going to discuss the second part of that. If you have not seen the first part of active and passive voice, then you can check my previous video. So let's start the video. So viewers, in the start I would like to tell you the difference between active and passive voice. So listen it carefully. Voice refers to the form of a verb that indicates when a grammatical subject performs the action or is the receiver of the action. Firstly, you can think of that there is the subject in the statement. हर statement में subject होता ही है, and when the subject is performing something, the sentence is in the active form. The grammatical subject means the performer of the task. The subject of the sentence is in the state of doing, not in the being. So when a sentence is written in the active voice, the subject performs the action, it is doing something. In the passive voice, the subject receives the action. Now when we are talking about the passive voice, subject is receiving the action, subject is at the end of the sentence rather than from the start of the sentence. In academic writing, it is generally preferred to choose an active verb and pair it with a subject. So commonly क्या होता है active voice और passive voice में, to tell you the concept, basically ऐसे sentences को select किया जाता है जिसमें subject हो and the sentence should have the predicate. So anybody can get the concept or the difference of active and passive voice easily. The names that person or a thing doing or performing the action. Where simply you have to keep this thing in your mind that in the active voice subject is doing something, but in the passive voice subject is not doing anything. It is in the state or in a condition, it has converted itself from doing to बीइंग. अब वो एक्शन रिसीव करेगा, इट इज नॉट डूइंग एनीथिंग. अब उस पे एक्शन आगे को ट्रांसफर कर दिया जाएगा. और इसका सबसे बड़ा आइडेंटिफिकेशन मार्क ये है कि सब्जेक्ट इज नॉट इन द स्टार्ट ऑफ द सेंटेंस. अब सब्जेक्ट को पैसिव वॉइस में सेंटेंस के लास्ट पे ट्रांसफर कर दिया गया है. सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट द इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ दैट. As we have distributed our video in different parts so that we can discuss the active and passive voice in past, present and future. Previously we have discussed it into the present time. Today we will discuss it into the past time, so that हमारी ये कंफ्यूजन ना क्रिएट हो कि प्रेजेंट टाइम में कैसे कन्वर्जन करनी थी, पास्ट टाइम में कैसे हमने इसे कन्वर्ट करना है, एंड व्हाट इज द कन्वर्जन इन द फ्यूचर टाइम पीरियड. बेसिकली ऑल these three conversions are interconnected, but at the end I will tell you how. So I am moving to the next part of that video. Viewers, in the start of the past tense there is the simple past, or you can say that indefinite tense of past. Use the simple past. Let me make it more visible for you by using my spotlight. Use the simple past tense to indicate a general or habitual action occurring in the past or at a specific time in the past. अब हमने सबसे पहले इस कॉन्सेप्ट को समझना है. व्हाट इज द सिंपल पास्ट टेंस? समथिंग दैट हैज हैपेंड. कोई चीज पास्ट में उसकी अक्रेंस हो गई है, वो एक्शन परफॉर्म्ड कर लिया गया है, सो हम उसे कहते हैं वो इंडिकेट कर रहा है एक एक्शन को जो किया गया है, जो कर लिया गया. सो दिस इज डन. अब इसकी कन्वर्जन में क्या है, सिंपल पास्ट में आप वर्ब की सेकेंड फॉर्म को यूज करते हैं. बट आई हैव ऑलरेडी टॉट यू दैट in the passive voice, whatever tense you are taking from past, present or future, passive voice will always select the third form of verb, and third form of verb must have the auxiliary verb. verb की second form अकेले ही अपने आप को express कर सकती है, but the third form of the verb cannot express itself without using any auxiliary verb or helping verb. So in the past we used to depict it, we will not use is, are, am. We have to use was, were, so that we can tell that we are talking something that has happened in the past. There is the base, that is ed or irregular form. It means that there are some verbs like you can see like, liked, liked. So this is the regular one, but in the irregular verb you can take the example of sleep, slept, slept, eat, ate, eaten, drink, drank, drunk. So these are the irregular जिनमें verbs की form के end पे ed का addition नहीं किया जा रहा. We are putting something else at the end to make something new or to create the second or third form of the verb. In the passive voice we have to convert the second form into the third one by the use of the auxiliary verb or helping verb, was or were according to the subject. So here is the example of the past indefinite. The teacher did not beat them. We are taking the example of the negative form. The teacher did not beat them. They were not beaten. Have you seen that we are using were and beaten, the third form, because we are converting active into the passive by the teacher. They did not win the prize. So the start of the end, or you can say that a start of the sentence, or you can say that the subject of the sentence is in the passive voice, not in the start. वो sentence के start में नहीं है, because in the active voice it is performing something, but in the passive voice it has to go at the end. इसे sentence के last में जाना है and it has to receive the action, और इसे action को receive करना है. तो आप अपने mind में ये चीज ऐसे याद रख सकते हैं that in the active voice subject is in the start and in the passive voice subject is at the end of the sentence. तो बेसिकली यहाँ पर कन्वर्जन हो रहा है, दो चीजें अपनी जगह चेंज कर रहे हैं. And third form is the rule of the passive voice. So I will repeat the example. They did not win the prize. The prize was not won by them. So this is all about the conversion of the active into the passive voice of the simple past tense. Now we are moving to the next part. Here's past progressive. Firstly, I would like to tell you the concept of that. Use the past progressive to indicate an ongoing action. We already know that progressive means something that is continuity, something that is continuous. कोई चीज जारी है, कोई चीज रुकी नहीं है, वो अपना अभी भी काम कर रही है. In the past, but in the past you have to check the time period. We are not talking in the present, we are not talking in the future. In the past, something that is happening in the past time period. An action continuing through a specific past time. कोई past के खास specific time में वो काम किया जा रहा था. So you can see that was and were is the part of the active voice, and ing is telling you that something continuous. We already know that. But in the passive voice, was or were will remain the same, and ing is taking the auxiliary verb be, and ed is the part of every passive voice. So nothing is new in this. She was not plucking the flowers. So subject is in the start and we have to put it at the end. The flowers were not being plucked by her. We cannot write she at the end like she. We have to write the pronoun of that. Were you writing a storybook? Was a storybook being written by you? Viewers, this is all about the conversion of the active to passive voice of the past progressive tense. We are moving to the next part. It is past perfect. So there is the concept of past perfect tense. I am going to revise that. Use the past perfect to indicate an action completed prior to a particular time or before another action in the past. The concept is very simple. somebody has done something because the happening of another thing. I will give you the example. मैंने काम कर लिया है. Before another action has to happen, but something has already completed itself. तो कोई चीज अगला टास्क शुरू होने से पहले ही अपने आप को कंप्लीट कर चुकी है और उसमें कुछ भी रिमेनिंग नहीं है. So this is the concept of past perfect tense. Here is the active voice of that. Had, ed or en means we are talking about the regular or irregular form of the verb. In the passive voice we have to keep the had like had, but we have to add been, and ed is the part of the passive voice. The little boy had broken the window. The window had been broken by the little boy. Practice is very important in everything. Practice will give you the stronger concept. So you can see that the second example is he had completed their task. Their task had been completed by him. So viewers, I hope you are getting the concept with the help of example. Now I have to tell you something more. Past perfect progressive. Use the past perfect progressive to indicate a continuing action that began before a past action or time. Viewers, there they are telling you the concept of past perfect progressive. आप इसकी एग्जाम्पल ऐसे ले सकते हैं कि कोई चीज जो पास्ट में अगला टास्क स्टार्ट होने से पहले अपने आप को कंप्लीट कर रही थी. जैसे आप एग्जाम्पल ले सकते हैं, वो शाम से काम कर रहा था. तो इसमें क्या बताया जा रहा है, कोई चीज कंटिन्यू भी है और वो अपने आप को क्या कर रही है, बिगिन बिफोर अ पास्ट एक्शन और टाइम. पास्ट में कोई काम था जिसे स्टार्ट किया गया था और वो पास्ट में ही अपने आप को कंप्लीट करने की कोशिश कर रहा है. तो अब क्या है, had been ing is the formation in the active voice, and in the passive voice had been, being or ed or en. Now there is one thing that is very important. I have taught you it in the present perfect progressive in the previous slides or in the previous video. Had she been watching the movie for 2 hours. Now there is the conversion. Had the movie been being watched by her for 2 hours. So there are so many things in this. You have to learn been, being and the third form. So here they are giving you that notice because of the awkward construction. You can see that the construction of that voice is very awkward because we are putting so many things in this. That is why they are saying it is not important to convert that tense into the passive voice from the active voice. So because the awkward construction, the past perfect progressive form is not used in the passive voice. Or viewers, you can say that, or you can think that it is not common in the written English to change this tense into the passive voice because there is no reason, or could be rarely change in the spoken English. written form में भी और spoken form में भी rarely हम इसे change करते हैं. So they are not I will say that it is not important to convert the past perfect progressive into the passive voice. So this is all about the second part of that video. Viewers, I hope you liked my video. If you liked my video, so kindly subscribe to my channel and share that video as well. In the third part, we will discuss the future time. So stay tuned. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.